Please welcome Tammy Waterman, the clinical pharmacist here at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Tammy, thank you for coming today. I've got so many questions about vaccines.
Well, I'm so happy to be here today, June. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Tammy, how did you get involved in pharmacy? What made you want to be a pharmacist?
Oh my goodness, good question. In high school, I actually took the Strong Vocational Interest Test, and that's a test that kind of tries to see how you think and compares you to people in different industries. And I scored really high in the medical field, although it did say I would be a really good mortician. I prefer living patients and talking to them, and what I really want to do is be able to educate people on how to take care of themselves, give them the control to do things to help themselves.
Yeah. Oh, that's a funny story, though. So tell us about your role here at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, and how long have you been here?
I've actually been here 1 year. I've been back at Novant for 2. I started off at Presbyterian before we were part of Novant back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm a boomerang employee,
Yeah.
and I've spent several years at another large center in Charlotte, but I'm so happy to be back at Novant. And I'm one of the clinical staff pharmacists, so I work very closely with the nurses and physicians, just making sure that every patient gets the right medication when they need it and for the right duration.
Yeah, those are important rules, like red rules, you know.
Exactly.
So today we're primarily going to talk about vaccinations, all kinds of vaccinations. I think people are, when they hear the word vaccination, they think COVID. But we're going to talk about some other things, and I think that that'll be real interesting to a lot of our watchers. So let's start with pneumonia. How about that one?
Sure. The pneumonia vaccine is actually indicated for patients who are less than 2 years old and 65 and over if you don't have any other underlying health issues. But for patients who are immunocompromised, you can get it at any age. There are different products depending on the age. But the reason we want to give patients the pneumonia vaccine is so they don't get what we call invasive pneumococcal disease. These are bloodstream infections or meningitis or other types of pneumonia caused by specific bacteria. So this vaccine can actually prevent those things from happening.
Wow, those sound like terrible things that we don't want to catch.
They are terrible. They can be deadly.
Wow, I know I've had mine, and you only get it one time, is that right?
You only need it one time for the 65 and older patients.
That would be me.
Sometimes you can actually get it up to 3 times if you're immunocompromised.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then we're going to talk about another one that I've already had, the shingles vaccine. And who should consider that and at what age?
Actually, for anybody 50 years of age or older, you can get the shingles vaccine. It's a 2-dose series, so we want you to go ahead and get it even if you've had an earlier vaccine called Zostavax.
I did.
It doesn't work, that one didn't work quite as well. The Shingrix vaccine is the newest one, and it actually will provide a minimum of 7 years of protection.
Wow.
Where we know that the Zostavax, the immunity really waned over time. So even if you've had chickenpox, or even if you've had shingles before, or if you got Zostavax, you can still get the shingles vaccine.
Yeah, I had chickenpox, but I've had the vaccine, and I certainly don't want shingles because I know somebody who had it, and it was horrible.
It is horrible, and it also can cause post-herpetic neuralgia, which is where your nerve endings feel like they're on fire. So this vaccine series can prevent that, and that's what we want to do.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So I know my grandchildren just got the HPV vaccine, and they're in their teens, their early teens. So talk to me about that, and how does that, what does that do for them?
Sure. The HPV, or human papillomavirus vaccine, actually is the only vaccine we have that can help prevent types of cancer later on down the road. HPV, we know, can cause cervical cancer, penile cancer, anal cancer, and also some mouth and throat cancers. But by giving boys and girls the HPV vaccine before they've been exposed to the virus, so we want to start vaccinating as young as age 9, but typically age 11 to 12 is where we usually start because other vaccines are given at that time.
Right.
So all the vaccines can be given at the same time, we just want them given in different locations.
Oh.
But we do this, if everyone is vaccinated, we can prevent up to 90% of these cancers.
Wow.
So it's tremendous. It's a tremendous
That's
breakthrough.
a big number. That's a huge statistic.
Yes.
Man. Yeah, and if kids are still seeing like their pediatrician or their primary, typically around that time, they're before they're going to first day of school, and that's a great time to get them. And
Absolutely. And if parents want to just talk to their pediatricians, talk to their own providers about when they should get that. And adults can actually get vaccinated up to age 26.
Oh.
But you want to think about how much you like shots or don't like shots, like
really.
most people do. If you're younger than age 15, you only need a 2-dose series. If you're over 15, then you need a 3-dose series.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's move on to the flu, but let's talk about the regular flu.
Okay.
The regular flu
Yes.
vaccine. I hear people say, well, I'm not getting that flu shot because I always get sick when I get it. Or then they get the vaccine and then they do get the flu later. So what's the advantage of having the flu vaccine?
Well, the flu vaccine is actually made using now 4 different types of flu strains. So there are 2 type A strains and 2 type B strains that are in the new quadrivalent vaccines. These new vaccines are also egg-free. So if you've had an egg allergy or didn't get the vaccine previously, definitely talk to your doctor. But the reason why people sometimes associate the flu vaccine with getting the flu is it often happens around the same time frame. And you can touch an elevator key without washing your hands and then accidentally scratch your face or touch your nose.
Yeah.
And the incubation time for the flu is usually 4 to 7 days. And after you get vaccinated, it can take up to 14 days for your immune system to ramp up.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of an overlap. And we typically think of the flu season between November, even all the way out to May. So we want everybody to be vaccinated by the 1st of November.
I hate this, we're running short of time, and I wanted to at least touch on briefly on COVID-19. What are the latest recommendations for children getting the COVID vaccine?
At this point, we want everybody who's 5 years and older to get the primary series. That's with the Pfizer product that is FDA approved for kids, Moderna product, or with Janssen. Now patients can also get a booster shot if they're 12 years and older. And everybody is allowed to get a booster shot, which is the shot after your primary series.
Great. Well, that's all such good information, and I have more questions for you, but I'm out of time today. Will you come back? Because I want to talk about hospital safety and how we can take care of our patients and keep them safe when giving medications.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk with
You're
you
a
about
great
that.
guest. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you, June. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.